You made me dance for my money, and I'm going to make you dance for your money too. So one of the craziest situations we've had with subleasing, we were approached by an individual with very good credit. He's very successful. Tax returns proved everything that he claimed, had high car credit in the past. It was the kind of client that we're looking for. And we leased him 2 cars, a Rolls Royce and a Lamborghini. And it turns out that right from the get-go, his plan was to turn these over to another gentleman who supplied cars to rappers and people in the entertainment business who didn't have the credit to get them on their own. So he would get the cars from us at a very fair lease payment, maybe $3,000, $3,500 a month. He would give them over to this gentleman who would then put them out for ridiculously crazy prices. He would double the monthly payments. He would do them on a daily basis, however he could profit from that. And this situation works well for about 6 months until it all falls apart. Even though we send letters to all of our lessees once a year advising them against this, they go ahead and do it. And eventually what happens, and we've seen this many times, the payments start to slow down from the rental facility to the lessee, and then the lessee starts running slow with us, and we contact them, and they'll make the payments, but slowly for a couple of months, and then eventually they'll tell us they don't have possession of the vehicle anymore. They gave it to ABC Rental Company. And we contact ABC Rental Company, and they claim that they don't have the car, and we wind up having to secure the vehicle by whatever means we can at that point. When we get the car back, we have a situation almost every time where the miles have been run up, the maintenance hasn't been done, and the car has diminished in value greatly. We then advise the original lessee, hey, we have your car back, you're past due for X number of months. If you want to reinstate the lease, you have to bring it current, and just as an extra bonus, you're going to probably have to spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to get the car running correctly, and your car is not worth what it was because it has 20,000 more miles than when you gave it to him 6 months ago. It's just a bad situation all around for everybody. We've never seen one of these work out well. We've had situations where the guy was given back the car from the rental company after one of the renters blew the engine, or he's given back the car after they've gotten in a serious accident. Numerous ways that this can go south, and we've seen almost every one of them. And then the other situation that happens is someone will be approached who has good credit. As a business plan, why don't you go out and lease these 2 cars? They'll cost us, this one will be $3,000, the other one will be $4,500 a month. We can turn that into $20,000 a month in rentals. So we get approached by somebody with good credit and big tax returns, and leases, look good to us. We do the deal, and everything's fine for 6 months, maybe even a year. One of the cars gets paid off, and the other 2 cars continue on. And then all of a sudden, payments slow down, and we're unable to get in touch with the guy who we leased the cars to. He just kind of goes underground, and his credit score goes from 700 plus down to high 5s very quickly. One day, out of the blue, we get a wire for $25,000. And it's from a third party, and we're not sure where this money's coming from. He contacts us the next day and says to us, I was told by so-and-so I should wire this money to you. I represent so-and-so, who is a rapper. I was able to get this car for him through this other source. And they told me I had to make the payments to you guys, but they gave me the wrong account, and it's the wrong money. I need you to wire it back to me. So here we are with we have 2 cars out. We don't know where they are. We don't know where our lessee is. And I've got a guy on the other end of the line who wants me to wire him back money he's now sent me for these cars. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't see why I would do that. And he's representing a pretty well-known rapper. And I said to him, I'll be happy to send you your money back after you help me get my car back. And he did not like that and started F-bombing all over the place. And he's getting on the next plane from California to come visit my office, and he's going to wreak havoc on us. And I was like, well, that's what you need to do. You should do that. But, you help me, I'll give you your money back. This is going to be a mutual situation here. So reluctantly, he worked it out. And a couple of days later, we got our car back. I wired him back his money. All's well that ends well, or so you think. And until we see the car, and car as usual in these situations, a lot of miles, not in good shape, and nobody to go after for the money because the other guy who we leased it to we don't know where he is at this point. He eventually resurfaced. He was living in a motel. His wife had kicked him out of the house. His business had gone south. We've never been able to collect the money on that. There's downsides in many different ways to somebody taking over a lease. That's not them. If you want to do a lease, contact the original source. If you want to take over somebody's car, get in touch with the lender and find out what the real terms are and what you need to do that. The manager of the wrapper, turns out we had another situation a year later where another wrapper wound up with one of our cars, and we didn't know for sure if this manager knew this other party or not, but we contacted him and solicited his assistance. We offered to pay him to help us get this car back. So he knew the car and he knew the guy, and they had done something to irritate him at one point, so he was willing to do it. And he arranged to have the car delivered to a dealer that we knew. So we set everything up, and our dealer has, a check for the car, and he shows up and he won't take the check. And he says to me, I get him on the phone. I said, what's going on? The dealer, the check is good. He said, you're going to have to wire me the money before I hand over the car. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, you made me dance for my money, and I'm going to make you dance for your money too. I was held hostage. And I couldn't do anything but laugh. So I agreed. I wired him the money. And the next day he returned and gave us the car back. We've reached out to him a couple of times in these situations, but the long and short of this is it's never a good idea to get involved with the intent of making money, renting a car out to somebody else, giving it to third-party rental agency, and thinking that there's money to be made. People who are renting cars out are not taking care of it the same way as if it's their own. And these cars wind up getting beat up with the mileage run up, and the original lessee is on the hook for the money. There are numerous agencies out there that for a fee you can list your car, and they will match you up with somebody who is willing to take over your monthly payments. And we've had numerous situations like that too, and some of these are more legitimate than others, but there are a lot of companies out there that do not check with the original lessor. We have not approved with any of these companies for them to put somebody else in one of our leases. If someone is going to take over a lease on one of our cars, we want to look at their credit. And we want to let the original lessee know, yeah, you can do this, but you're on the hook too. Do you really want somebody else driving your exotic car and you're responsible if they go bad? Because that's what happens in a sublease. And they're not telling you that when you go to one of these agencies. You're paying a fee up front. You're paying the monthly payments to them, which hopefully they're in turn sending to the original lessee, who then in turn is sending it to us. Because if we see money from a third party, we know something is up. And again, these situations never work out well for the original lessee. I think the best way to minimize ownership cost is to buy a car, pre-owned car. Number one, that's already taken some of the depreciation, and that's a known thing. And to study the market, to really take a careful look at what kind of cars are holding their value. Everybody thinks that new Ferraris are great investments, and they were for a long time. But that market has changed, and they're not the same guarantee that they used to be, that you could drive it for a year and a half and give it back and then get the next one and you're going to get all your money. That just doesn't happen the same way, and there's very few cars that does happen with. But if you buy an older car and you're willing to hold on to it for a while, you will minimize your costs. It won't depreciate anywhere near the same rate. And if you're lucky, and that's what it is, it's luck, it might go up in value. But if you're buying a car with that in mind, I don't like the odds.
Whether you're packing for a cannonball or just going about your day, it's important to just carry what you actually need. The Ridge has a line of wallets and bags that help you to do just that. Leave the junk at home and just make sure that you've always got exactly what you need with you. So be sure to check out ridge.com/VINwiki and use the code VINwiki at checkout for a discount to let them know how much you appreciate their support of the VINwiki channel.